Big Bob.
And I'm Ann.
What's up? Hi, I'm Big Bob.
And I'm Ann.
What's up?
What's up?
First shout out of the day is Bren, who is the founder of the Be the Best You Foundation, also our executive producer. Shout out, many thanks.
Yay.
And it's on record how much we appreciate her and how much she's key to making this thing happen and be exciting.
Thanks to
Thank
Bren.
you very much. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, we are. First, how did I get roped into this in the first place?
You called me and asked me to help you out.
No, I told you what you needed to say. This whole show is going to be about correcting him. I can see this now. I told you what you could do.
Great mother-in-law.
My son got married this weekend, but that's another topic. We were talking on the phone about what you could do in your extra spare time now that you're semi-retired, and I suggested you'd be great at speaking engagements, and then we aligned into this podcast stuff, and you said, wisely, that you wouldn't do one unless it was with me. So I'm like, okay.
Now you're correcting me again. I shouldn't have done it without you.
Exactly.
Okay. So we got a pilot. We're going to have to introduce ourselves, tell our stories, so you get a little background where we came from, how we got here. Wasn't born yesterday under a tulip plant or something. It's here I am. And what's your story?
Oh, I've got lots of them.
Yeah, well, let's start.
What genre do you prefer?
Let's start a quick Reader Digest background story.
Been a writer since I was age 11 professionally. Not yet 60, but could be
Published
in the
too,
foreseeable future. Published, yeah, many times.
I mean, everybody's a writer, but not everybody's a published writer.
Does being a published writer still make you a writer? Or does it just make you lucky and paid?
More importantly, am I a published writer?
Yes, you are.
No, you wrote the book.
But it's under your name.
So I'm published, and it's about me, but you wrote it, so am I a published writer?
But the world doesn't know I wrote it because we failed to put that in the book.
It was in the second edition.
Okay.
Thanks. Faux pas. So, more about your professional writing career.
I've just been a writer since I was a kid. It's something I kind of fell into and never stopped, even though, as you know, I pursued various business tracks and stuff, but none of them worked out, and I always fell back to the written word.
Good for you. That's what your passion's always been. You know, if you can't follow your passion, you're never going to find happiness. Right? Every job just becomes a job. You wake up every morning, you're doing it just for a paycheck. Do you know what they call people who do their job just for a paycheck?
What do they call them?
Prostitutes.
Oh, gosh.
That's what they are. Somebody who does it just for money. Somebody does something just for money is a prostitute. If you don't have a passion for what you're doing, right, you're a prostitute.
That's true.
I've never been one. You've never been one. Most people in this world just wake up every morning, go to a job they hate, but they're doing it just for the paycheck and the security that comes with having enough income to pay their bills. Sorry, true.
So knowing you in that regard and knowing myself, knowing you, no one at your place of employment is a prostitute, because I'm sure they all love what they do working here.
I would venture to say most of them think it's the best job they've ever had.
I bet.
Right? Not everybody wants to own their own business.
And
thank goodness for that, because if everybody wanted to own their own business, the view from the top of the mountain would be very crowded. So I'm blessed that not everybody wants to own their own business.
Yeah, you don't need the competition.
Well, I love competition. I thrive on it. You do too. You're a competitor.
Very competitive, especially when it comes to pursuits of athletic endeavors and things of that nature.
All right, then. What else you got besides you're a professional writer?
Well,
and your son just got married.
My oldest son just got married on Saturday.
Congratulations.
And he became a doctor the week prior, got his doctorate in neurophysiology. So it's been busy.
Wow.
So they got married on
Superstars.
Saturday. Wonderful experience. And believe it or not, I only teared up a couple of times. I didn't full on cry, so there was a waste of
And
waterproof mascara.
you're such an emotional person.
I am.
too.
And let's not confuse emotional with dramatic. I mean, I can be dramatic, but I am emotional.
Good. I think weddings are a good time to get emotional.
They are, but it
Right.
was just a fantastic event. And I hate to say the word pride because I know pride isn't a good thing, but let me tell you, in those few seconds they were on the altar and it became official.
Right.
I looked at him and was thinking, my gosh, and this also sounds boastful, so bear with me. Looking at him up there, that's 28 years of blood, sweat, and tears on my part and my husband's part, getting him to the point where he's Dr. Butinus and he's married this amazing woman into this amazing family. And that sense of pride that overwhelmed me in that moment was just unique.
When I got married, the first time, I've only been married once. When I got married the first time, after the ceremony, I found a corner and cried all by myself. I was so euphorically happy that it actually happened and I'm married, and that challenge of not being by myself for the rest of my life, that's done.
Done.
And there's nothing wrong with being happy and tearful at a wedding. I think that's best place to do.
I know, and I love the fact that we have technology today with cameras and videos and all of that, because I saw some photographs after the wedding that I
Yeah.
didn't recognize these instances took place during it. And there's this one photo of my son where he sees her for the first time walking down the aisle in her dress. And you know what the image was besides pure joy on his face? He went,
Really?
yeah, and his best man was like, just smiled, but it's like, it's like, yes.
He got what he needed. He got what he deserved
Yes, he did.
because he deserved the best.
He deserved it. One
Good for
might
him.
say, if you meet her, he got more than he deserved.
Well, they call that out kicking your coverage
Yeah.
in the sporting world. All right. What else you got?
What else I got? Oh, got one my family. You know, I mean, work's one thing. You know, I've been published in magazines, websites. I'm in a marketing department for companies. I've worked for Match.com. My resume is a mile long, okay? But
All
that's not what's important. It's the family. And I have a husband, Ed, who's been with Hallmark for unbelievably 47 years.
47. Does he get a gold watch in 3 years?
No, they do not.
No gold watch.
Mm-mm. He got a watch on his 25th.
Why stay somewhere that long anymore if you're not going to get a gold watch after 50 years?
Well, the health insurance is great.
Well, that's a good reason.
And I need it because I tend to be accident prone sometimes.
Probably when you're running.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
Okay. All right. Next time. What else you got?
I've got 3 sons. We just mentioned
You know,
one.
they had a TV show when I was growing up, and that was the name of it.
I know, but the funny
My
thing
3
about
sons.
that show, because I remember watching it too, was that he actually had 4 sons.
Yeah, they adopted somebody as one was moving out to college. I mean, they've done that with a lot of TV shows just to keep new talent coming in and out.
And the young
But
talent-
actually, it wasn't his son. They were adopted.
Okay.
That's okay. I'm all for adoption. I think it's wonderful. Politically correct, right? All right.
So my sons, you know, the oldest, he, as we said, he's got his doctorate in neurophysiology, got married. When they get back from their honeymoon in 2 weeks, they're moving to Florida.
We're in Florida.
University of Florida in Gainesville, because he has a 3-year postdoc fellowship that he's been invited to pursue.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
What a powerful summer you're having.
Yeah. And his focus is on finding treatments, possibly cures, but I think treatment's a better word, for heart disease, protocols for advancing treatments in heart disease.
I hope I never have to call him for a referral.
I hope you don't either.
Yeah. Okay.
And well, the second one is Zachary, and he's 26, almost 27, and he's an art director for a company out of Boston, but he lives in Atlanta because he can work from home. And he does marketing for pharmaceutical companies. And the youngest son, Noah, is
Wait, can
25.
you get us any good drugs?
No, he can only design the packaging.
Oh.
And then the youngest one, Noah, will be 25 in a few weeks, and he's getting his doctorate in chiropractic medicine and will be completed with that next year.
You've done a great job. Ed, too.
I'm still sweating though.
Yeah, well,
It's been a lot of work.
you've passed all the major tests.
But you've got boys too.
I got 2 boys who are absolute superstars. Superstars. They don't like me to say that.
But they are.
I brag on my kids all the time. Stories. So I never gave my kids allowance. They had to do the chores around the house. When one kid asked for allowance, I said, no problem, I'll give you an allowance, but now I'm gonna have to charge you room and board. And so he decided to bypass the room and board payment and do the chores for free. But they worked at the store in the warehouse to earn enough money to take their girlfriends out to a movie when they were teenagers. And when they went, I told them, look, my gift to you is going to be a college education. So I put $100,000 aside for each one of my kids. And I said, if you spend less than 100, the balance goes towards a car or house down payment. If you spend more, go get yourself a loan. And after college, if you want to come work in the business, you have to do a walkabout. Live outside of Kansas City without my checkbook, without my connections and Rolodex, survive for at least a year. And if you choose to come back, doors open, we're thrilled to have you. One went to California for 2 years, one went to New York for 15 months. Both of them took a cut in pay to come back to Kansas City. And so the oldest one says, he was in New York, the oldest one says, do I still got a credit? I said, absolutely. He says, I need to buy a car. Go shop for a car. I'll help you close the deal. So he went to a Ford dealership and he calls me up. I'm at the Ford dealership. Come help me close the deal. So there was 2 cars on the parking lot. A red cherry top convertible
Sweet.
Mustang and a metallic gray Mustang. Same year, same cost, same everything. So I said to my son, pick a car. He says, I'm going with the gray metallic hardtop. I go, why not the cherry red? That's a beautiful car. He says, Dad, when I make my own money, I'll flaunt it, but I can't flaunt your money.
Wow.
23 years old. He got it. He gets it.
That's amazing.
Right. So I'm very proud of my kids. Both of them, I can tell stories all day long and probably will end up telling a lot of stories about my kids, but I'm very proud of both of them.
And
They're superstars.
you have grandkids too, though.
2 twin girls, 4.5.
So, but I do want to know, because I've known you for several years and I wrote the book about you, but our audience doesn't know.
Literally, not figuratively.
Both, yeah. Well, yeah.
Wrote the book.
But the story about how you founded your business is incredible.
I've been asked to tell and been interviewed hundreds of times. And so I have my background down to a pretty quick story. So if you please indulge me. The story starts, I graduated 93 out of a class of 95 in phys ed from Ithaca College. 1's the best, 2's pretty good, 3's okay. 93 out of 95, why even bother going to college? Well, when I graduated, my teachers told me I had ADD. I told them, no, I have all D's. All right. 6 weeks later, I had a full scholarship to Northwestern to coach football. I was there at the Big Ten coaching football. Ithaca College, Big Ten, 93 out of 95. Wowie. Year later, I'm at the University of Pittsburgh coaching football there. They end up winning a national championship. My father calls me up and he says, son, I'm on food stamps. You got to move down to Florida and bail me out. So I quit my coaching career, moved to Florida, waited tables 3 meals a day, 6 days a week for 9 months. Gave my dad all the money. All right. So after 9 months, he comes and he says, I'm under the hole. I'm back in business. He was buying land and speculatively building little one-family homes. So he says, come work for me. And I said, absolutely. So the first week on the job, he says, I need you to sharpen my pencils. This is the way I like my pencils sharpened, and you're not doing it right. And I looked at him and I said, Pop, I love you. And I take a bullet for you, but I'm not going to spend the rest of my life like this. So he got me a job selling flooring in Sarasota, Florida in 77. Worked there for a year, moved to New York City, worked retail flooring in New York City for 3 years, got a job as a mill rep, got shipped out to California, wrote home to my dad, and I said, my territory is Mojave Desert, Death Valley, and Fresno. So I moved from Manhattan, New York, to
the desert, practically. Close enough.
Right, the desert, right? Fresno. Okay. Boss calls me up after 6 months and says, we're promoting you. Excuse me, we're transferring you. No promotion. We're transferring you to Kansas City. And I said, fantastic. Am I being promoted? He says, no, it's not a promotion. I said, substantial pay increase. He says, no, really, it's no extra money. I said, what if I don't want to move to Kansas City? He says, we'll give you the finest letter of recommendation we can. I moved to Kansas City. Met a young woman on first week I was in town on a blind date. We ended up falling in love, getting married, buying a house. I didn't like the carpet in the house. So I called up the manufacturer I was working for, and I said, what do you got that's high quality, that's being dropped, that I can ship to Kansas City and put in my house? We found a piece of carpet, ship it up here, and I'm going, man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Somebody's got to pay for the freight. Even though the carpet was very expensive, I had to pay something for it.
Right.
And I got to pay for the labor, have it installed too. I got to recoup some of my money. So I put a 3-line classified ad into the Kansas City Star. Beautiful used carpet, cheap, come get it, blah, blah, whatever it said. I got 6 phone calls before 10 o'clock in the morning asking for directions, and it's all sold before 10 o'clock.
Really?
I get 50 more phone calls Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Now, today, we've been in retail for 40 years. If I take out a full page display ad in the Kansas City Star today, I wouldn't get 50 people to respond to it. But I got 50 people to respond to a 3-line classified.
Are there any magic words in that classified?
No.
Oh.
I don't know what happened to the ad, but it was powerful. It must have been. Anyways, I've sold carpet in Florida, New York City, half of California, all of Kansas, half Missouri. I never even heard the word used carpet.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like people would gravitate towards that initially.
So I pick up the yellow pages. There's 185 listings under flooring, no used carpet. 45 listings under used furniture. I call them all up, and none of them sell carpet, used furniture. 9 days later, I opened up Big Bob's used carpet shop. Will you hand me that business card right there, please?
Where?
The one on the side. In the
this.
Yeah.
I want to know how you got Big Bob name.
Right. So that was the name of the first business, Big Bob's Used Carpet Shop. And if you look closely, you see big bucks. My name's David, right? Big ducks don't fly. My mother-in-law said, you're lucky your name wasn't Fred. And meanwhile, I was still moonlighting, working for the mill. We opened up one store. 9 months later, we opened up a second store. I quit my job as a full-time mill rep, stopped moonlighting. A couple of years later, we licensed the idea. The licensing was successful. We franchised the idea. And the height of my career at Big Bob's, we had stores from Anchorage to Boston, Winnipeg to Corpus, doing over $50 million a year. And it cost me only $15,000 to start this business. So we were hugely successful. We were so recognized by the Better Business Bureau. We have Small Business of the Year from the Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce, Blue Chip Award from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. I wrote a book on most of my business philosophies and sold the franchise company. Now I'm here every day just whispering in their ears, a people whisperer, trying to teach my kids how they can have 50-year-old experiences before they turn 35. And that's my story.
That's so impressive. But now you're like turning a page to a new chapter.
Yes. Yeah, I have so many different things going on right now.
Personally, professionally, or both?
Professionally. Well, we can talk about that some other time. So this show is going to be a flow of consciousness. Eventually, we'll have interesting guests. We have them all lined up. You don't want to miss an episode. And I don't know if there is something you would like to say before we shut it down.
Well, I want to ask, are we allowed to speak our mind and enjoy the results on this program? Is there an invitation to controversy?
My second choice, our choice for naming this show is What's Up, Big Bob and Ann. But my second choice was Politics, Sex, and Religion, only because I thought that would be very, very edgy, and maybe somebody else would turn in because of just the title.
Yeah.
Who wants to, What's Up, Big Bob and Ann? Doesn't sound very exciting. But by the way, my next book, that's the title.
Politics, sex, and religion.
Oh yeah, yeah. It won't be a bestseller, but we'll have a lot of fun writing it.
Are you ready for this?
And where did you hear? Are you ready for this?
Oh, you're going to love this. And you don't even remember it, which is
Yes.
so funny. About 10 years ago, your mother was here in town and we were still working on your book and whatnot. And you invited me to go to lunch with you and your
Right.
mom. Wonderful lady.
Yeah.
Went to this little cafe. We were sitting in this little table and she, like you, has a lot to say. I did. And I
Tell me
remember
about
she'd
it.
be telling certain stories. But what caught my attention is every time she was setting up something, she'd lean in and she'd say, "Are you ready for this?" Like you had to be prepared for what was coming out of her mouth next.
All right. Are you ready for this? In the bullpen for our first session of interviews, Joe Bazone, Mr. Good Sense, Kyle Witherspoon, Johnny's Tavern, Will Shields, Kansas City Chiefs, and a myriad of other more interesting than us, personalities that are going to keep this show rocking and rolling.
It's going to be a blast. So stay tuned to find what's up all the time.
But I had a franchisee. She had about 9 restaurants, and she came to me and said, "I wrote a jingle." And I said, "Oh, really?" She read it to me. She read it to me. When she read it to me, I said, "Oh my God, that's unbelievable." And I memorized it.
Go ahead.
Oh, pick up a 2-pack of pasta for you and your spouse. Get a 4-pack or 6-pack if you got a full house. We'll pack it up fast and send you on your way. So come to Mr. Goodson's, get some pasta today. We'll make it with meatballs or sausage if you please. We'll pack it up fresh, fixing dinner's a breeze. So come to Mr. Goodson's and visit our store or give us a call, then we'll bring it to your door.
That's awesome.
Huh?
I'm Big Bob.
And I'm Ann.
What's up?